Josh Weissman just did a video on a 200-hour burrito, and he finished that video by saying that he didn't think his audience would replicate that. Didn't expect them to. I think as young as this dude is, he underestimates the power of the internet. So, I'm not gonna make a 200-hour burrito, I'm gonna make a 500-hour sandwich. Welcome back everybody again to John's Junk, where we're gonna do Meat Like a Man. Today we are on a quest to find the perfect sandwich. And can you see this guy? That's a big boy. I'm going to start off with some whole juniper berries. About that much plus the 5 or 6. Nah, I'll put a few more in there. About that much plus the 2, 4, 6 that are already in there. Handy dandy mushy masher device. We have a nice mush. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in a little bit of salt to help that out. And these guys are going to go in the pot on hot black peppercorns. About that much. And a little bit more. It's a big boy. A little bit more salt to help as an abrasive in there. These are just going to boil and toast and escapees, lots of escapees. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Just mash them up real good. Dump them in there. Coriander seeds. Helicopter seeds. Whatever. About that much. Bless you. And that can go in there. And we're just gonna toast those for a little bit. Where's my spoon? There's my spoon. Just an empty, heavy bottom pot. Get out of here. All right, 15 pounds-ish of brisket. It's clearly not going to fit in a pot like that. I have a solution. There is a flat side and a point side. And I don't know which one's which. I wasn't going to trim this, but this chunk here just is annoying me. Happy Christmas, possum. Alright. It's two different muscles here. I'm going to try to get in between them. It's not really going to work. What I'm going to do is corn both this. This is what we're doing here. We're corning this. I'm going to turn one into my sandwich meat and the other into corned beef and cabbage. So I'm going to cut him right there, roughly in half. There we go. That's fragrant. I'm going to throw into that some bay leaves. Wow, that smells nice. I am going to go heavy on the bay leaves. Alright, this is this is some hot water because I don't feel like waiting. That smells really nice. I'm not going to use all of it. About a gallon-ish. I'll let that boil for a minute while I clean up. I feel like Chef Jean-Pierre. Smells amazing. That's enough. That's at a good boil. This thing's supposed to be weak sauce. It's doing pretty good with help. That's good enough. I'm going to turn it off. That can go there. I'm going to let that set for a minute. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 59, 1,000. That's good enough. In here, cool it down with some ice and some cold water. Don't want to use all of it because I don't know if this is all going to fit. I forgot. I've had bad luck with zippy bags. By the 3-gallon zippy bags. Had really bad luck with them. I don't have any fancy containers. This pot with a lid on it fits on the bottom rack of my fridge perfectly. Let's look at that. That's what we're looking for. Stupid me. Cleaning up, I put this stuff up. This is the secret ingredient. Prog number 1. Careful, follow the directions precisely. Not like how I'm about to do. Because I don't think they take into account the wet. It says 1 level teaspoon. It says use 1 level teaspoon for 5 pounds of meat. Be wet cured. Time required for full cure depending on the quantity and type of meat cured. Follow curing recipe instructions. I don't think it's taking into account the water, so I'm going to use 3 teaspoons. That give me a little bit extra. Squirrels are going bananas. How hot are you? I don't want to cook it when I put it in. That's good enough. It feels cool to the touch. One hand. Just going to take this, cram him in there. Hold still. Hold. I said hold still. I'm going to use both hands. Poop. There we go. I'm gonna wash my hands. I've got washing stuff right here. Fill this the rest of the way. Make sure everybody is submerged. And that, it's gonna sit just like that in the bottom of my fridge for 2 weeks. Save the date. 2 weeks. We'll be back then. It has been 3 weeks. That's been sitting in my fridge. I'll show you what it looks like. Now it's time to throw it on here. Got half tank of charcoal going there. We're making smoke with cherry. Ow, hot. Wow, that's hot. That is really hot. Yikes. I think I learned. Wow, maybe I should set this down. Ouchie, ouchie, ouchie. Ow, ow, ow. Ow. Alright. Cherry wood going on, starting to smoke. I'm going to put this as far to this side as I can. I was going to try to do it one-handed, but I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to put it fat side down because I want to. And this is going to go 200 and 250 degrees for around 4 hours. I don't remember what internal temp I want to do it to, but I'm going to do it to that. We'll be back checking every couple hours. In the meantime, let's make some bread. It is crazy windy all of a sudden. For the bread, the easy way I'm not going to do it the easy way, but my bowl's kind of gross because I just made some buns for breakfast for the next week. Plain old all-purpose flour. For plain old simple easy bread, 430 grams. Then we're going to add 2 teaspoons yeast ish. You can prove your yeast or not. I am not this time because I know it works because I just proved it making buns. About a tablespoon of sugar, a tablespoon of plain old iodized salt. Some say don't use iodized salt. I don't care what some say. Get that in there. Now 245 grams of water and 20 grams of fat. That's going to go in here. Going to mix that up, throw it, and let it rise. That is the simple way. Skip the next bit I'm going to do if you want to just do it the simple, easy way. I'm not going to do it that way. I have here a cutoff, and we'll talk more about that later. It's still kind of cold. My water is kind of warm, so I am going to thin this out just by doing this. Warm it up a bit. This is going to liquefy it. Further, for the complicated bit, I have a soaker, and this soaker is just some of those because it sounded nice and it was on markdown, and some of this because it sounded nice and it was on markdown. Apparently hemp seeds are really expensive, but it's a quarter cup of each, half a cup of water, cooked. You need them cooked. You don't cook them, they're not going to get cooked in the bread, and you're going to bite into a chunk of red bulgur, which is part of the wheat germ, I think, if I remember correctly. Sloppy. I don't normally do this. Normally this is nice and warm and puffy by the time I get to it, but I'm impatient and didn't feel like waiting, so it's come to this, to warm it up and get it ready for use. Another cheat I'm going to use is I only used about 400 grams of flour. I'm going to add a secret weapon, some of that. That is Vital Wheat gluten, and what this is going to do is give me more protein, more chew. And I didn't bring a measuring cup. I'm not going to go get one. I need another 30 grams. One more scoop. That ought to do it. Another secret weapon I'm going to use, some of that. Diastatic malt powder. Get stuff online. You don't have to use this brand. I like this brand because it doesn't actually say it. But right across here it says, whatever you do, don't look at the bottom of the pack. And then it says that. I like people with sense of humiligrations. We're going to use the same amount of diastatic dry malt powder as we do yeast, which was 2 teaspoons in there. And what this is going to do is basically supercharge the yeast. It's going to make it more puffy, more airy, gives the yeast more to eat, and improves and encourages browning. I might just be talking out of my butthole. I don't know. Trusty old wooden spoon. You can use a whisk, you can use your fingers. It's going to be tough to integrate, I think. Dump it all in. Whenever I'm using a measuring device or measuring into a measuring device to pour in, I always give a little bit extra because I know I'm going to lose some. Just going to stir this in. Get in here nice and early and use my hand. We're not kneading, we're just incorporating. Wow, that smells yeasty. Nice and soft. Now that right there is going to set the lid on until it doubles in size. I would put it in my oven, but my oven's going to be being used for a little bit. Be back in about an hour. Alright, it's been about an hour. It's double-ish in size. Gonna flour that up a little bit because it's really wet. And I'm just gonna degas him. No kneading, just gonna do some of this. Wow, it's really damp. Just stretch and fold, stretch and fold. Everybody do the stretch and fold. Wow, it's really, really wet. And that should do it. Well, do it a little bit more. Give him make sure he's all farted out. Put the lid on him. Another hour. There's so much fermentation in that bit that I had in the fridge that a gnat got a hold of some of the juice that was on the lid and expired from it. Some potent stuff. Alright, it's been about an hour since I first did and then I did another stretch and fold. So now she's ready to go. I'm just going to flour my work surface here. Just making a mess for me to clean up later, really, is all I'm doing. Flour my hands up real good. This is a really wet, sticky dough. He's really puffed up there. Get him out. Degas him. See how farty he was. And this guy here is just gonna go out. Too much flour down. Stretch him out, stretch him out. Now we're going to form our loaf. I don't do this properly, and I don't care. It works. I'm going to start from this end. I'm just going to take it, and I'm pulling it. Pulling it, stretching it tight. Pulling it, stretching it tight-ish. We're going to pinch that shut as best we can. It's a little lopsided. That's okay. That's our fat little boy right there. I'm going to take him, drop him in my loaf pan. This guy is going to get... Oh no, I forgot to do something. Ah! Oh no. Do you guys remember this at the beginning? I promised I was going to talk about it. Well, it's time to talk about it. So what I do when I make a loaf of bread is I make it heavy by 100 or 200 grams. This one happens to be about 200 grams heavy. So I'm going to take that. Yeah, close enough. I'm going to take this guy, stretch him out nice and flat. Throw him in there. I'm going to throw him back in my fridge. It's all ready to make my next loaf, which is probably going to be in a week, maybe 2. Who knows? That's been in there for 2 weeks, I think. This will be okay. It'll be okay. Nice and tight. Now we can go in there. That's fitting much better. And now take a tea towel and drape him over. Gonna make a couple of pleats there. And that right there, we're gonna let him go for 45 minutes or an hour until he's right where we want him. This is what we're gonna look like after about 45 minutes. It's about where we want him. He's not very strong. Need to get him in the oven quick. Gonna take my knife and just score him about that deep. I'm gonna pop that in the middle of a 425-degree oven for about 20-25 minutes. Alright, she's out. That's what you wanted to sound like. Hollow. Didn't rise up as much as I wanted. Probably because I let it puff up too much in the pan, then spoiled the oven spring. It'll still be good though. Well, that's what that guy looks like. I guess I'm going to pull him and wrap him. Crank the heat. I'm going to do it a little bit differently. Behave. Gonna have to move quick. Youch! I've got an oven mitt. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh well. Gonna add a lot of the juice from the little water bowl I had in here. It's gonna have some BCBs in it. Ah, you quit doing that. And that's okay. That is 100% okay. That is going to steam up really nice. Wrap that tight as I can get it. Make the heat go boom boom through the roof. Keep the wet environment. Gonna leave that until that gets to about 165, 170 ish. I don't know why you're squealing. Shut up. It's 190. I decided to pull it. Let's see what she looks like in here. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna burn me. Ow, hot. Woo. Whoop, steamed you up. Looky there. Got a good bark on it. Got some give to her. Those juices in there are gonna be fantabulous. Look at that pink. Can't wait to slice into that. Alright, we're gonna let this set here and rest for an hour or so. I think I'm gonna give it a sneaky little taste. What? You guys didn't know I had a knife this small? Ooh-wee. Look at that. Look at that. Perfect. It's gonna be hot. Fall apart. Wow. Can't wait to get that on a sandwich. Yowza. We'll be back. Big insect. Big insect. What are you? Go away. Be back once this thing's cooled off. probably tomorrow. For our next portion, we're gonna go ahead and start it now. Got some cabbage. Different knife. Cut the butthole out. Let's roll that. Get out of here. There we go. Butthole's out of there. And we're just gonna fine dice. You cut yours however you want, not dice. I'm gonna do a fine shred here. You do yours however you want. Ow, my finger. Just kidding. I actually did that last week, a week ago. That's smarty. Alright, that's how I want mine. Roughly half a head, 3/4 of a head, quarter head, cabbage. Throw that in there. Don't want you. Get out of here. Now we want, break this up. You want roughly percent and a half salt by volume. I didn't weigh this guy, so get my calibrated scale here. That's way too much. That should do it. And we're just gonna get in there with our hands and squeeze it together. I'm gonna put the lid on this. Gonna let it set for about 30 minutes. Doesn't have to be tight, just keep the critters out. Alright, that's where we be. Some water in there. Just get in there and mush it up again. Just squeeze it. Trying to wring out as much water as we can. Let that salt do its thing. And we'll let it set for another 30 minutes or so ish. Alright, it's about where we're going to leave him. That's not enough water. You can see that down in there. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But I'm bored. My hand hurts. And we're going to cheat. I'm going to take this, cram him in my freshly cleaned, sterilized bottle. Jar. Bottle jar. Thing. It's got some black bits in there that I don't want. I don't know where that came from. Probably dirt from the cabbage. Get away from it. That's good enough. Mash that down in there. That's what this guy's for. Ooh. Except for I forgot I stirred the fire. Go. Good enough. Got more water than I thought I did out of that. It's not bad. Take this guy here, cram him in. I'm going to make a little more brine to put in there, and that's as tight as the lid's going to get, because these guys are going to burp and fart their way to crowdy goodness. And it's going to sit on my countertop for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We'll see you back then. Now for the dressing, it calls for, or the traditional doesn't call for, the traditional is Thousand Island. I'm not down with Thousand Island. Nothing against it, just not my thing. The other one is Russian dressing. I'm not down with Russian dressing either. I'm going to use my own concoction, as it were. What you're supposed to do this is mayonnaise, prepared horseradish, and sour cream. What I've got here is some horseradish sauce I made that is effectively that, I don't know about you, but when I go out for Chinese or I've got some horseradish, I like it where it's so strong that I'm going to use that much, by the way, that you kind of feel it. It makes you go, eh. This stuff right here, this stuff right here is strong enough that it starts right here, makes you go cross-eyed, makes your lips wrap around your teeth and your jaw stick out. Then you have trouble breathing. Then you go into heart palpitations and feel like you're going to die. It's the good stuff. To that, some off-the-shelf sriracha, any kind of hot sauce, I suppose. Just a little bit. Some finely diced shallots. Shallots are too bourgeoisie for me. That's the correct pronunciation of bougie that all the cool kids use, but I'm not a cool kid, so I'm going to say it as close to as correct as I can. A little bit of mustard powder, not very much. There's some sturdy stuff too. Pinch of salt, that's enough. A little bit of Worcestershire sauce, that's enough. And whisk. Whisk. It's not turning. Yeah, it's turning kind of salmon color. I might have to add some more mayonnaise, but we'll see. Yeah, I think more mayonnaise is in order because it's a little chunky here. But yeah, let's try that. Clean spoon. That. Wow. I like it. This is a little more salmon color though. Whew. Whew. That's better. That's better. There we go. That's our dressing. It is time to assemble our sandwich. It has been 3 weeks, 500 hours-ish. Now if I was to do a cumulative, I think Josh did his cumulative, so that makes this a 1,000 hour sandwich. Actually more than that. It makes it a 1,250 hour sandwich if we do it cumulative. And he said, you can't do this. He doesn't expect you to do this. Well, I'm here to tell you, you can do something like this because I just done it. So let's dress it. We have our bread lightly and lovingly toasted. We have our dressing. Whew. It's gotten stronger. We're just gonna add some of this. About that much. Holy moly, this might be a mistake. This might be a big mistake. I don't care. I'm just gonna smear this all over. And over here we've got just a pot with some water steaming our chunks of meat. I don't have a way to get that out of there without burning myself. That's gonna have to do. And then we've got our kraut. I made a mess. I don't care. Top our king sandwiches. Some warm. In there. Get out of here. That's what she looks like. I don't have any fancy gear. Just a dude with a cell phone on his back deck. I'm gonna pick this up and try to bite it. It's a big sandwich. 500,000. 1,200 hour sandwich. See how we did. Here's the dressing kicking in. Might need a little bit more of it. That is worth every bit of it. This is accessible. This is easy. Well, takes a lot of time, but most of that time most of that time is going to be spent waiting, doing other stuff. It's really, I don't know, 40 minutes, maybe an hour for a week's worth of sandwiches, or for a party or whatever. Shut up, dog. You can do this. It's not that bad. The carpenter be in here with me or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna finish shoving this in my face hole. This has been an epic journey, the longest video I'll ever post, probably, maybe, I don't know. And it's been the longest time coming. I've been planning this for 8 months, and all the pieces finally got together, and it took 3 weeks to pull it all off. So I'm gonna go enjoy that. Hopefully you learned something. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.